At USC, you have the ability to be in an environment that's a cultural mecca and then forge relationships with people who are in that environment, and then also have the ability to forge ahead in a professional career.
USC has really grown in terms of the amount of basic research, fundamental research, and also applied research.
Education is not just about courses. Education is stepping out of those courses and being involved in almost a parallel track of discovery and inquiry. And so the idea of SOAR was to provide funds during the academic year so students could work with professors in their lab or in the field or in the libraries on their research projects.
Annenberg is the most dynamic academic environment I have ever seen. What's going on in the classroom and what's going on outside the classroom. And I think students here have an opportunity to experience a rich array of speakers, visiting professionals, and scholars that is really unrivaled anywhere else.
Now I found the project that I really like, which is to work in collaboration with neuroscience and electrical engineering. I was working on biomedical implants. They're trying to develop a chip that replaces the functionality of the hippocampus.
One of the great things about USC is that it encourages interdisciplinary studies for students. I'll get students in class who are double majors, and so this wonderful combination for students, or the ability to do something that seems, two things that seem so opposed, that actually benefit each of the different disciplines.
I started off doing research on child bilingual dyslexia, and then after that I got to work with the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, working with foster care children. So right now my focus is really in minority mental health care and looking mostly at Asian American populations.
I don't think there's an end to the opportunities with respect to research for students to find the next best thing.
We have incredible success right now with students that are minoring, whether it's with business or communications. We have a few double majors, engineering, for example, and public policy. So a student will receive a minor in arts leadership, a BFA in dance, and a master's in public policy.
I don't think any university brings together the athletic, the academic, and the artistic in the way that we are able to do. What I think connects all these students is they all seem to want to change the world for the better. They all want to build the world that they want to live in at a time when we need it most. And what USC is uniquely able to do is empower its students to transform themselves so they can transform the world.
Well, the major is called Arts, Technology, and the Business of Innovation, and I go to the Irene Young Academy. So it's essentially to come up with ideas and concepts which are not yet businesses right now, so we're essentially creating the future business.
A Renaissance Scholar program allows you to really grow with your interests. I came here and I just added on the extra major and the minor.
To give students a chance to explore many fields of knowledge, USC really encourages students to have a broad education in combination with access to some of the finest professional schools in the world.
I think that USC really tries to cater to its students by providing them the tools and the access necessary to really create a personalized education.
It's a school where you're invited to expand your passions as well as find new ones.
So I started out as an accounting major just because it made sense, like job-wise, but I always loved art, but I never really found like a way where I could kind of pursue it. I remember telling my academic advisor, I like drawing. I took a couple drawing classes in high school, and she's like, oh, well, why don't you take this animation class or take a fine art class? And then I took an animation class here, and I loved it. Like discovering a passion I didn't know existed before. USC allows you to explore what you really wanted to do, and I realized that there is a path into making movies.
They're designing new kinds of courses that enable faculty to take small groups of students to different countries to meet some of the leaders in government and around the world.
Problems Without Passports essentially where students have the opportunity to do a hands-on experience. So this was tied to the Environmental Studies program by a program through Guam and Palau, where we did underwater scuba diving research. We studied biodiversity and looked at some of the environmental patterns, laws, processes that are included in both of those countries.
I think I see myself working in the future in sustainable development, specifically in developing countries, and my goal is to hopefully spend this summer in Jordan doing language immersion as well as interning with a sustainable development firm. So I have a specific focus in community health, seeing how issues of space in the built environment impact our health.
The Marshall International Case Competition provides an opportunity for students from around the world to come to USC and compete for the Marshall Cup. They receive a case that they have about 24 hours to come up with resolutions, suggestions, and recommendations to a panel of industry judges. And most importantly, they walk out of here having made hundreds of new friends and make this experience one of the more memorable ones of their lives.
I just feel like I'm part of this small community, and at the same time, it's a really global place to be.
I've gone abroad twice already with USC. Business is no longer just within one country. I think getting that kind of international perspective, obviously, in this world is becoming more and more of an important thing to understand. That really culminated into a 10-day trip to Shanghai and Beijing, where we got to visit companies, just really see how things work there, both on a cultural and an economic standpoint. It was an amazing experience.
There are all sorts of wonderful things that are going on with the intellectual life and the entertainment life and the intersection between the two in Los Angeles. And USC is right at the heart of that.
Well, LA is one of the world's great cities. It's an incredibly dynamic place. It's very diverse and very creative.
Major trends tend to start here. Trends in fashion, trends in culture, trends in entertainment.
The weather is great and it allows me to do a lot.
Such a mix of cultures, mix of personalities, mix of styles. I've been able to stay the same person that I am, and I've always appreciated that.
It's a beautiful place just to be walking around. You don't feel like you're in the middle of a city, even though you are. And I like that you can see people you know walking to and from class, and it's always such a treat.
They're always sending us emails with events going on at Parkside, or different clubs are looking for people to join.
It's got great architecture, great building, you meet great people. USC is a gorgeous, gorgeous campus.
USC offers 3 types of housing: residence halls, suites, and apartments.
The different buildings each have their own vibe, like they each cater to a specific population. There's the suite styles if you want a more intimate connection with the 7 other people that you're living with, but a residence hall style like New North or Burncrown will be a little bit more social, be meeting people who are more open. You'll see them in the hallways, things like that.
The University Village project is huge, and I think everyone's super excited about it.
Many stores all in one place. It makes my life as a student much easier.
This is the Village. We're sitting in it right now. McCarthy Honors College, my honors college, is right behind me. The Village is made up of new residential facilities and all sorts of shops and restaurants and recreational facilities. It's an incredible place to get to live and play and learn and grow.
Honestly, I think the thing that was most surprising about moving in was the common ground that all different people had, regardless of where they came from.
It was really exciting for me to learn that the girls that I lived with on my hall could also end up being some of the best friends I've ever had and some of the best study partners I've ever had. And for me, that was really what made USC home.
As a freshman, there are a couple of dining halls on campus. I lived right next to a dining hall, so that was really convenient. I could go in 5 minutes before class, grab a bite to eat, then head off to class.
Oh, nice to meet you, finally! I'm hoping to learn about my roommate's culture in China, while from an American standpoint, I hopefully will be able to introduce her to American pastimes and American traditions that I take as sort of second nature.
I think the Trojan family is so successful and has had such a big impact on all of us because USC makes an effort to help everyone become who they want to become. And so I think that USC challenges you not just to be great, but to be authentically great and great at what you're passionate about. And that forms a bond between people that lasts between classes and I think between generations.
It's almost a cliche to talk about the Trojan family. Everybody talks about it, but the reason they talk about it is it's real. And being a part of the Trojan family for my undergraduate and graduate really led me to embrace the opportunity to stay here as a professor.
Trojan family in China is particularly strong in any fields. It's very likely we're going to want the Trojans who can give you help and guidance.
I'm familiar with quite a few Trojans who went to school for their undergrad and maybe even did grad school and are so proud of their school and the community that they built while they were here that it is not something that they've ever forgotten.
I had an internship and I was able to get that because one of the current employees at the company was a Trojan alumni. The people at that company understood that if he was vouching for someone, then they were quality, and he was willing to vouch for a fellow Trojan.
Trojan family is a powerful force. I didn't really appreciate the network fully until I became dean, and I saw just what you could do when you unleash the power of that network to create opportunities for our students.
It doesn't just end in 4 years when students graduate. Members of the Trojan family look out for each other. They open doors of opportunity for each other. They encourage each other. And so again, by counting yourself as a Trojan, what you're doing is laying a path that will be available to you literally for the rest of your life.
What makes the University of Southern California great? We are family. We are one.
Fight on.
Fight on.
Fight on.
Fight on.
Fight on.
Fighting.
Fight on.
Fighting. Fight on.
Jakuze.
Fight on.
Fight on.
Fighting.
頑張って。
Fight on.
Fight on.
頑張りましょう。
Fight on.
Fight on.